television when the actual bombing, the main bit of the war was on. And there was this brilliant bit where this reporter was in Parliament Square, and he said, I'm here in Parliament Square, he said, now, the anti-war movement has quite literally melted away. On the night before the war began, this square was packed full of demonstrators. Tonight, just one lonely man with a placard. And I remember thinking, well, yes, I suppose that is true, but I wonder if that might be, if you possibly worked it out, because on the night before the war began, there was a demonstration, and tonight, there isn't one. Cloth-eared idiot. I thought if he becomes a sports reporter, he'll go to Old Trafford on a Monday afternoon and say, support for Manchester United has quite literally melted away. Saturday afternoon, 67,000. Today, just a cleaner.
Turn on the TV just the other day. Turn on the TV, hear the Prime Minister say, everything's going exactly his way. Sit down, listen what he had to say. He said it's midterm blues, the whole damn thing. Midterm blues, are you listening? I said it's midterm blues. Come the election you'll forget. Oh, your protests are useless, you may as well get back home. Turn on the propaganda TV. Sit back and enjoy the pornography. Sit back and watch the future come. Cause there's nothing can be done. He says there's nothing can be done. Yes, it's Thatcher tactics back again. But things are more serious than they were back then. She only destroyed the NHS and state education. Now this man's got an invited terrorist to attack this nation. So when I said it's midterm blues, you gotta say yeah right. Well, see you, Tony, we ain't going down without a fight. People, please tell me, we ain't going down without a fight. Remember, it's all about the word of mouth. Come the revolution, come. Everybody gotta get up for this one. Come the revolution, come. Tony Blair better get ready to run one and come the revolution, come. George Bush, no you know you're not welcome. Said come the revolution, come. MC Daylight on a mission. Said busted the rhythm just broke wild. Every man, woman and child. You got the moves, we got the style. Gonna set it free now, gonna go wild. Broke wild, said come the revolution, come. Trevor Kavanaugh in the sights of my gun. Come the revolution, come. The Sun Public Enemy number one and come the revolution, come. Rupert Murdoch get ready to run and I come the revolution, come. Heaven see daylight on a mission. Said why do we have to make them die? Why do we have to make them die? I turned on the TV just the other day. Turn on the TV, hear the Home Secretary say everything's going exactly his way. Sit down, listen what he had to say. We need your fingerprints and your DNA. Identity cards are on the way. We need a scan of your retina, listen while I say. It's the only way to keep the immigrants at bay. We need your date of birth and a picture of your face next to your name on a database. So freedom is over, get it in your head. You wanna disagree, you might wind up dead. What? Dead in the woods like Dr. Kelly. Any more questions, just turn on the telly. Propaganda machine will sort out your brain. Soon things will be looking right as rain. Yes, it's the worst freedom lockdown since times of enclosure. When you're sitting in the future, don't say no one told you. Cause it's been coming for some time now. And we got a plan. We sort it out. Come on, now listen now, we'll show you how. This is the big green party. Pan the bus, it is the big green party. Pan the bus, it is the big green party. Pan the bus, it is the big green funky reggae party. This is the party with the loads of green. Step on the bus and just see what we mean. We no wanna stinking gasoline. I just a sunflower oil run my machine for the big green party. Pan the bus, it is a big green party. Pan the bus, all the girl get naughty. Number the cause it is a big green funky reggae party. From Baghdad to Brent East to the southwest. But by the test, cause you're testing the best. We come to show the situation's not hopeless. From Baghdad to Burn East to the southwest, it's at the big green party. Panny bus, it is a big green party. Panny bus, all the girl get naughty. Panny bus, it is a big green funky reggae party. Yo Monsanto, I got a job for you, bro. Listen while I tell you now, let the fool know. We don't want to eat your food.
Well, I think we've done a number of things. I think we've, amongst other things, we've generated the biggest radical dissenting movement I think this country has probably ever seen, which is important in itself because it helps to shift the political debate in the country. I think we made it very hard for the government to consider supporting another US-led adventure in the Middle East or anywhere else. I also think we've created terrible, terrible damage for Tony Blair's war effort. He hoped that coming out of the what he saw as victory in Iraq, that he'd celebrate and that he'd get a lot of kudos and that he'd be seen as a fantastically successful Prime Minister. In fact, what's happened is that ever since the war started, he's been dogged by crisis. I think that crisis has come about because there has been mobilisation after mobilisation of people on demonstrations, on direct action, public meetings up and down the country, which have meant that he's never recovered from that disastrous decision he made. We had a demonstration of 2 million, we had other demonstrations of more than 100,000, we had the biggest demonstration in wartime in British history, we had the biggest demonstration on a weekday in British history. I think we didn't quite do enough to stop the war this time round. It would have been incredible if we had done, in a way. I mean, it was very frustrating that we didn't manage to stop the war. But the truth is, if they try it on in Iran, I think there will be an explosion of discontent in this country, which will, I believe, would finish Blair off and would finish off any effort they might want to make towards a further war in the Middle East.
Excuse me, sir, I think there's an error. It says here, you're fighting a war against terror. Major Smith says, and George Bush repeated, that one day you'll have this terror defeated. But I don't believe that it's terror you meant. I think you're fighting a war on dissent. You say that your aim is full spectrum dominance, global supremacy, USA prominence. You're killing for peace and imposing democracy, imprisoning freedom. That's blatant hypocrisy. It's blindingly clear as we huddle in fear. Whether we protest or whether we cower, we're crushed by the heel of American power. Thank you.
I was a reservist basically, and I was due to go out in Iraq in the future, maybe end of this year or next year, and I finally came to the point where I couldn't accept that this war was just or moral. Fundamentally, I mean, I marched with the 2 million against the war, and I marched with that day with 5 other soldiers, and we were shocked when we heard that we would go to war, that we thought there was a clear mandate to say no to the war. Also, I thought, as a ex-member of the Labour Party, I thought, so many of us activists within the Labour Party clearly said to Blair, we didn't believe in the war and we didn't want the war. And I just hoped that he would listen to us, but sadly he took us into a very wrong war. Say?
You're saying that you guys bring the fucking troops in?
Come here. Say it.
Why do you like to bring them back?
No, look at the camera, because you'll get on shot, mate.
Right, you're complaining about...
Which regiment are you in?
I'm not going to say in case I get shot in.
But remember... Say it off, mate. You'll get in trouble, mate.
I know, but...
Say it off the camera, and then say it, because you won't get on...
No, I'm not stupid, I've done it before. Right. But what I want to know is, yous are all protesting about this, and yous have never served your country at all.
I have, over 5 years in the military, mate.
Right, so you might have a vote, but some of these people here don't.
That's true.
So I don't see why it's right, why they people say to them, bring them home. We get trained for years to do the job we do, then when we get over, use the tell us to come back over.
Yeah, I know, but do you really believe what you're doing out there is right?
Yeah, I do, because if you see some of the stuff that we do, like we build fucking schools, help children and that, I know there's a lot of stuff that's bad, but that's because the press show all the bad things, never show the good things around me, do they? Have you ever seen it in the papers?
But the facts and figures don't show that, that's the problem.
Well, you can go with your facts and figures. What I've seen so far, I was doing a great job, and you are just bringing them down.
That may be true.
You might have a good
your
thing,
opinion,
but most of these people here don't have a right to say bring them home.
But
And that.
the thing is that the Iraqi people have already voted and say that they don't want British troops or American troops there.
When we came back, if we came all the way back, what would happen? Do you think? What would you honestly think would happen if we all went away?
Like every country, they'll get on with their lives and try to sort themselves out.
Is that what you honestly think?
Yes.
I honestly think that it won't. It'll just go back to square one.
But what you've been fed is the propaganda. I mean, when we were a colonial nation taking care of so many countries like Cyprus, Kenya and other countries, the excuse we always used is if we leave those countries, they'll disintegrate, go into civil war. We left those countries, they were all right.
You might, because you've been in the military, people don't have the right to say.
There's about 4 of us that have been in the military here.
I can tell which one to have and which people haven't.
Yeah.
But that's my personal opinion, but you've got your opinion.
I think you're entitled to your opinion because you're serving your country.
Thanks, but
we don't want you to die and we don't want you to be
I know,
and
but
suffer.
of course, I know that, but some families... I can't remember saying because I've been for...
No, but I mean, I'm glad for what you're doing, but we want you to come back safe.
I know what you mean, but some of these people don't have the right to say what they say, but maybe you're doing some other people, but not a lot.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you guys.
There is no doubt that many of the stories that have come out over this war have been quite atrocious, but many of you may not be aware that in Abu Ghraib there are women that have been raped, systematically raped, and that has not come out in the press. That a British officer was involved in sanctioning the tortures in Abu Ghraib, and that people have died there. There is so much of the truth that has been neglected and has been hidden from you. We became soldiers to defend the weak, not to be hired guns for American greed.
I was actually indoctrinated for 6 years by the British Army to protect this country against the very kind of tyrants who are now in charge of it and of the United States. So how am I supposed to feel when we break what Chief Justice Jackson, the head of the Nuremberg war crimes trials, described as the supreme crime? We committed that crime, which is the sovereign and the unprovoked invasion of a sovereign territory. And when our government shows that they have no regard for the supreme crime of unprovoked invasion, then what respect do they have for any law? What moral authority do they have to impose any law on me? What moral authority do they have to restrict my rights and freedoms? So I'm marching today